Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deepa Robbins from DeeZinesByD and today I have this week's Make the Cards Challenge post for you. Now when I think of glimmer plates or foil plates, I always think of all the shiny, beautiful images that you can make, but I always forget that there is another use for these plates, and that is dry embossing. So this is a technique that I'm going to share with you today. Today's challenge is a color challenge, and the color we're focusing on is orange. And with orange, I obviously thought about pumpkins and beautiful orange leaves and Thanksgiving. Here in Canada, Thanksgiving is finished, but I know that it's coming up in the States. So I decided to make a thankful card for you. So for today's card, I'm going to be using the Spellbinders Autumn set, and I actually just got this. This was the set for the Glimmer kit set for October 2021. And as you see, it has these beautiful leaves and it's got a little toadstool and an acorn. And those four images are what I'm going to be using to dry emboss today. Along with it came with this copper foil from Spellbinders, which is perfect for this challenge because copper shines orange, which fits the orange theme. So I'm using a smaller panel than an A2 size card to create a 1/4 inch border around the panel, and I'm just placing these foil plates in any orientation that I want, and just like the corner here, and I'm attaching them with some washi tape. So this is basically going to create like one big plate for me, and it's going to just make it easier for me to kind of move it around the panel and emboss it. So I want to show you how I made my sandwich. I use the Sizzix Big Shot Plus, and I'm going to use the platform, the adapter plate B, and then I'm going to place down the silicone mat. Now this is from We Are Memory Keepers. You can get any of them from any of the different die cut machine companies. And so I'm placing down my paper or my cardstock on top of that, my glimmer plates, and then I'm going to put on this other adapter plate, which is, I think it's just called a impressions pad by Sizzix. So what I'm showing you is I put it down, I'll move that plate around, and then I'll put it through again, my machine. And then at the end, I took the pieces off separately just to fill in all the little blanks at the edge. So this was the first impression that I got. I did it again and moved it to the side, and that's the second impression. And then once I was completely done, this was the final product, which is actually a really cool look. I mean, with embossing folders being so big right now, this dry embossing technique gives you that embossing folder look. So now I've got my embossed panel. I'm going to create the focal point for my card, and to do that, I'm going to be doing the actual foiling. So this is what I do with all of my foils. I just rip off the top, and I keep the foils in those little containers because it has the names of the colors, so I can always show you, and I can always reference which colors that I'm using, because I don't want to, within the foil roll itself, it doesn't actually tell you what the color is. I guess you could take off that little sticker and keep it with your foils if you didn't want to keep the box, but the box is really what tells you what color you've got. So I'm just going to arrange these any which way because I'm going to end up cutting them out. I've foiled them with my Glimmer machine, and you can see it's just got that nice orangey, coppery shine. That's so beautiful. And for these focal points, I'm going to end up Copic coloring them with my Copic chows. But before I do that, I am going to foil the little sentiment that comes with the set as well, which is thankful for you. So I'll just get that all set up on some black cardstock, and I'll foil it with the same copper foil. As you saw, I actually just cut that off of the piece that I used for the other little images, so I didn't cut a new piece. I always use up all my scraps like this. And as you can see, there's a bit of overfoiling. So I have my Couture Creations Detailer tool. I got this from Simon Says Stamp, and this is perfect. If you're somebody who does a lot of foiling, this is definitely a good investment. It doesn't cost that much, and it gives you a bunch of extra erasers that you can use to replace the one that's on there. So now I have this Spellbinder Sweet and Snarky Birthday Wishes set, and I'm only using the little sentiment die from this set because it cuts like a nice thin sentiment, which is what I wanted for this card. Some of the other sets have a bigger die for the sentiment, and I find that it uses up too much space, and for the smaller sentiments, this one works perfectly. So I'm actually going to put this through twice. I got a nice edge on one side, but the other side is the cutoff edge. So I want to get that nice edge. So I'll line it up with the die again with the right spacing on the end. And then I'll put it through my little Sizzix sidekick here. And I'll get the perfect cut on the other edge as well. And I've got a little bit of, it kind of cut the strip a little bit, but I can fix that with some scissors there. So for my Copic coloring, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just doing your typical blending. I'm just going to lay down my dark color, my next lightest color, then the lightest color, and blend that all out into a nice image. These are such small little images. It really doesn't take that long to do. I used a whole bunch of colors here, which I've listed for you, and they're all listed in my blog as well. They're all from the Copic Chow Set A. So, I mean, all you really have to do is buy that set and you get all these colors. So if you can tell, I'm still sick. This is one of those lingering colds that just does not go away. I know some people have commented, and thank you for all the well wishes. I do have to say thank you to everybody. I meant to say this in the beginning so that you could all hear it before you kind of trailed off to do your little things or saw what you needed to from my video. I don't expect everyone to watch my entire videos, but if you do, thank you so much. Thank you for leaving comments and giving me support and for showing appreciation for my cards. And I'm just so overwhelmed with all the support from the crafty community from all of you guys. Thank you so much. I just want to say that here. So now let's get back to the video. So I finished that little toadstool there. I added the red. I know this is an orange challenge, but I didn't want to make every single image orange. So I focused the orange on the leaves. And I'm also going to add a bit of an orange border, and that will kind of highlight the orange. I mean, you can make your entire card orange if you want, but I mean, we just want to see orange somewhere in your creation. So as long as you have it somewhere, or it's kind of like highlighted as an accent color or as the main color, whatever it is, go ahead and link those up to the blog, and you can be entered to be this week's winner for this challenge. So I chose to keep that oak leaf completely orange, and for this maple leaf, I thought that there was too much orange, so I added a bit of yellow to the edge there just to show a bit of gradation or change in color from the orange to the yellow. I mean, in autumn, you see such beautifully colored leaves, and I did want to add a bit more red in there, but again, I didn't want to take away from the orange too much, so I kept it mainly orange. And then for the acorn, I'm using your typical browns to make that a beautiful brown acorn. Now, I don't know about you lately, but here in Canada, there's been so many squirrels. We had them actually living on our balcony. And it was because my kids used to collect all the acorns, and then they kept them in a little pot over the winter. And then in the summer, these squirrels were like, hey, we got a free-for-all here with all these acorns. And they literally just started living on our balcony. We actually, got rid of them. We got them trapped in a cage, which is not the best thing. But I mean, when they're living in your space, you got to get rid of them. So we caught them, and then we just relocate them. And I found that worked the best. I don't know if they're taking over anywhere else, but anyways, that's my little squirrel story to go with that little acorn. Now, I've cut these out with the dies that come with the set, and these dies are a little different. They cut right up to the edge of your foiled image. As you can see on that toadstool, I had a bit of white on the edge, but it's okay because I'm going to be putting against a white back, so it's not going to look too weird. If you're using these dies, I do want to recommend that you make sure you line them up nicely. And if they don't cut out and they have a bit of that white, you can always just cut that off. Like I said, I'm backing mine onto a white panel, so you're not even going to really be able to tell anyways. So I placed all of these down in the center of my card using some foam squares, which I kind of cut to size. And then I just kind of stuck my sentiment right below that little toadstool. And this basically creates a nice little focal point in the center of your card, and it doesn't take away or draw your eye away too much from that dry embossing that you have on the rest of the panel. Now, I know it's hard to see in this video all of that dry embossing, but as you can see on the panel that I showed you originally, it really makes a nice subtle effect, like all embossing folders do, and it just you know, creates a nice elegant card. If you've seen my videos, you know I kind of go a little over the top and always kind of have like 3 or 4 different little techniques within one card. But this one I decided to keep simple because, as I said, I wanted to focus more on that dry embossing and having that stand out a little bit more on my card front. So now, as I said, I'm backing this onto some orange cardstock, and that just ties in that orange and kind of makes the orange in the leaf kind of pop a little bit. And then for the inside of the card, I decided to use this little sprig or branch that comes with the set. And it cuts out like a little branch there, and then it has all these little flowers, and I decided to keep the little flowers yellow and orange just to continue to tie in with the theme and that leaf on the front of the card. Now, to keep the that shiny orange from the copper foil within the rest of this image, or this little focal piece or die cut piece, I cut out those little flowers from some rose gold cardstock, which actually has like a coppery look to it. This one's a little more subtle than some of the other rose gold foils cardstocks that I have, so I thought this would be really nice to just kind of stick behind those flowers and just make that foil stand out a little bit. It's just a little bit of extra work, and it actually makes a huge difference and makes those little flowers pop when I put them onto the inside of the card. So this takes a lot of work to kind of stick this all together. It doesn't take that long in total, but it's a lot of finicky work. So that little jewel picker that I used comes in handy because it allows me to just stick all those little pieces together, which my little fingers can't do, and with these nails that I have on there, that's not going to work. So that jewel picker is a lifesaver. So I'm just going to stick that extra oak leaf on in the bottom center of the, in the bottom left of the card here, along with that little sprig. And that's it for the inside of my card. I'm not going to do too much because this is a smaller card. I'm using the Pink Fresh Studio Heartfelt Thanks stamp set, and I'm just using this little sentiment. It's this nice little scripty heartfelt thanks sentiment, and I thought it just worked really nicely with the inside of the card. I stamped that out with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And then for the front of the card, I had a little goof up with my videoing, and I forgot to actually video the jewels that I put on the card. So I used this set from Pink Fresh Studio. I'm using only the peach fuzz colored jewels, and I just stuck a few of those on around the focal point of the card there, just for a bit of interest. So this is the final card. You can see the embossing here as I move the card around. It really looks nice on the background of the card. And once this is complete, this is the final product that you get. It's really a nice classy look, and I'm actually happy with the way that it turned out. So I hope that you've been inspired by my video. Please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be notified of any future videos that I do post. I hope that you have been inspired to contribute and to be part of the Make the Cards Challenge this week. Please don't forget to check out the other designers' inspirations, and hopefully you have something that you can link up to be this week's winner. So I hope you all have a great day, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks again. Bye.